Is Carlos King being a hypocrite regarding the quote unquote hate Shamea gets, but is on the mute challenge when it was Melody Cherie? Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. So, today we are talking Carlos King. As you know, Monday nights he has his reality with the King Show, with his panel and all of the things. And there was something in there that he was discussing, and he was talking about which of the Housewives of Atlanta stars are his most viewed interviews and all the things. But he had said something about the quote unquote hate that Shamea gets. And it was interesting because all of the seasons that Melody Cherie received hate on Love and Marriage Huntsville, Carlos King never gave this type of energy, even when they were quote unquote perceived to be cool. So before we get into that, a couple of things. Claudia says that she's vindicated about Pinky being pregnant, but nobody said that Claudia was a liar. Nobody called Claudia Jordan a liar when she said that somebody on the right couch was pregnant. I think the issue at hand was that it wasn't left for us to be surprised about. It was Pinky's information to share. And so what happened was, when Claudia Jordan said that, and everybody pretty much quickly figured out it's most likely Pinky, because if you're specifically saying someone on the couch is pregnant, we knew it wasn't going to be K. Michelle. 9 times out of 10, it wasn't going to be Shamea. You know what I'm saying? Because she's dealing with the surrogacy. And we knew it was highly unlikely Kelly. So the only logical explanation was Pinky. And Pinky had to deny it because ultimately that information was not available yet because we have not seen the reunion. So now what has happened is the reunion had to release a sneak peek that basically confirms that in fact Pinky is pregnant. Now, my thing is, if the show is doing so well and the ratings are doing so well, why do we have all these sneak peeks immediately after the episode to where you don't even have time to digest and dissect and discuss what just happened in the episode you just watched? We're already on to these immediate sneak peeks to keep the discourse going online and on social media and all the things. But this whole thing that Claudia Jordan's vindicated, nobody said she was a liar. People had questions about whether or not it was her place to say anything about another woman's womb. So I just wanted to say that. Now, I want to get into this because this was something that Carlos King had said at the end of his show. So I originally saw the clip somewhere, and I don't remember who posted it or if it got deleted or if it got removed. So I had to search specifically in the video to find it, because when I first saw this clip, I was like, this feels like a complete 180 from how it was when it was Melody Cherie receiving all the hate, receiving all the backlash, receiving all the negativity on LAMH. So we're going to take a listen, and then I have some thoughts.
This week. So I'm dropping one next week that is a delight.
And it's I just point out that the two people that a lot of the fans claim they can't stand so much on Housewives, Kelly and Shamea, got the numbers running up, which is...
I will say this. True. Shout out to Shamea's interview. Shamea has the 3rd highest viewed Atlanta Housewife interview on my channel.
The first two.
Stop playing with Shamea. Big Shamea on their ass. Yeah. Stop playing with Shamea. I love her.
No, but it's what I always... Listen, I know when I say this, it gets lost in translation or falls on deaf ears, and that's fine. But the ones who really want to learn how this business works, and for the reality star who really wants to know how to sustain themselves in this business, Shamea's interview, it has, I think at this point, it's like 530,000 views.
Wow.
She's about, she may be Kenya's. Kenya has the second highest rated.
Nene probably.
So Nene Kenya and Shamea.
Wow.
So my point is this.
Oh my God.
And I'm gonna close by saying this. This is a good lesson for the reality star, and it's a good lesson for the reality fans. Your hatred, fans, for someone doesn't translate when people are really viewing the show.
Yeah.
Right? It does, and that's why I always tell the reality star, the hate you get online, you can't feed into it because it doesn't translate in the real world. And I think Shamea's interview, my entire team was shocked at how well Shamea's interview did. Shamea's interview broke numbers for my channel. It may surpass Kenya's at the rate that it's going. And I think is a lot has to do with just her honesty and just and listen, timing is everything too. So my point in saying all of this is this. For the fans, you can hate on somebody all you want to. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that your hatred comes from your love of other people. And you have every right to do that. Do what you want to do. But for the reality star, when you're hated online, don't pay attention to it. Kelly's interview in 1 week is about to do 200,000 views.
Oh,
Yeah.
In 1 week. Somebody y'all hate, right? So once again, numbers don't lie, but men and women do.
that part.
Before I get into the Melody Cherie of it all, Carlos King, I gotta say this. You did put Portia in the title of both of Shamea's interview and Kelly's interviews, and there was a lot of Portia talk in the Shamea interviews especially, and there was a lot of Portia talk in Kelly's interview, but then also she would just throw shade as well and just not say names, whether she was talking about Drew Sidora or Portia, but we could put two and two together and figure out who it was. So a lot of the reason why it is doing the numbers that it is because whether you like Shamea or not, the people tuned in to see what Shamea and Kelly were going to say about Portia. But I bet you if you brought them back for interviews and Portia was not on the table for discussion, I bet you it's not going to have the same numbers. Like if we keep it a buck, I challenge you to do another interview with both Shamea and Kelly separately, and no Portia questions, no Portia discussions, no Portia innuendos. And let's see if it is pulling 530 plus thousand views. And it's no shade, I'm no hater. It's a successful video. But let's keep it a buck for what it is. The thumbnail, the title is Portia. Kelly's, I believe, was like, I'm not backing down against Portia. I'm not bowing down to Portia. You're presenting in the interview that Portia is the star, that Portia is this, it is Portia's show, and all of the things. Like that's how it was presented. And then on the Shamea interview of it all as well, in your thumbnail, it's about the Portia friendship being over and why Shamea mentioned the mothers. So again, we knew coming into those interviews that Portia was going to be a topic of discussion. Just to keep it a buck for real, for real. We weren't tuning in to get to know Shamea or Kelly. We were tuning in to see what was going to be said about Portia, and there was times that they were not being completely and 100% honest. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. Now, as for your point that a lot of the times the hate online does not match what's happened in real life, in reality, yes, that is true. I do not disagree with you there, that a lot of these fans are keyboard gangsters, have trigger fingers, say all these hot takes, but in real life, if some of these reality stars were in their faces, they're not going to keep the same energy. Now, where I disagree is, for me personally, I don't know any of these people to like or dislike anybody. I have passion in my takes and my opinions on these reality stars, on these celebrities, but as I say in all my videos, it's never personal. But if I vehemently disagree with how somebody is acting or how somebody's behaving, I'm going to voice those opinions. Unfortunately, fans want to interpret that as hate, as bullying, as attacking, and it's not. I'm not coming for somebody's looks. I'm not coming for somebody's family. I'm not doing personal attacks. I am reacting specifically to things that they say or do. Now, how does all of this tie into Melody Cherie, right? On your own shows, Carlos King, you have particular cast members that receive the most hate. What was happening with Melody Cherie went beyond anything I've seen on any reality show. You had cast members, you had fans, you had, you know what I'm saying, all sorts of people that were spreading the most malicious and disgusting rumors about Melody Cherie with zero receipts, with zero fact checking. And your suggestion to the reality stars is to just let it rock when it's flat out slander and flat out defaming somebody. Making an allegation that somebody, you know what I'm saying, is not their, somebody's kid, that their father is not who they say that it is, and it could potentially be somebody else with no proof, no receipts, just running off of, a bitter ex or running off the fact that you're no longer friends with Mel. And that was my issue. The cast on these reality shows, you can like who you want to like, you can dislike who you want to like, you can choose who you like filming with versus who you don't. But there was a blatant smear campaign against Melody Cherie that I have never seen, that went beyond the show. All because people were so jealous and they were so insecure about Melody Cherie's motion, about Melody Cherie's fan base. And those viewers, Carlos King, left when Melody Cherie left the show, because it went too far. The alleged grooming allegations, the discussion about a limo situation that was very disturbing. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, just all of these things. Discussions about children's hair, minor children's hair, how long it is, whether or not they have hairlines. Like, y'all went way beyond what was necessary for like and dislike of somebody, and it involved the cast members and cast members' relatives getting on this internet and saying all types of slanderous things about Melody Cherie. And then when Melody Cherie tried to tell you that her ex-husband is still causing havoc at your first Reality with the King in-person show, that was Melody Cherie, and she is crying to you, she is emotional to you about all of the things that her ex-husband is doing, and specifically wanting him fired, and specifically wanting him let go. And you basically pivot the conversation to bring out Sonny and Moses. And you try to remove yourself and claim you're not as involved with the show anymore. But for Shamea and Kelly, because they brought numbers to your YouTube, because they brought numbers to your interview, now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? All the hate's just online. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing what you're doing. No. But see, the reality is, Carlos King, you like the type of messy that Shamea and Kelly is doing, and I don't understand how you can call Portia your wife and how much you love her and go up for stuff like that. Go up for somebody bringing up issues with their moms from 20, 30 years ago. that has nothing to do with the current season of what Shamea's real issue is with Portia, or bringing up stuff that happened seasons ago when Shamea was a friend of, that she's trying to present as a storyline, as something new to have an issue with Portia these past 2 seasons. And that's not entertaining for us as a fan. If there is something Portia specifically did to Shamea last season or this season, let's get into it. But that's not the case. And even with Kelly, she came onto the show concerned about Portia and Simon. Back this season, concerned about Portia still being in quote-unquote Simon's house. And my thing is, if she can afford the mortgage and afford the property taxes, why do you care? But it's just interesting how you have so much grace for Shamea, you have so much grace for Kelly, and you keep trying to, you know what I'm saying, make it seem as though Portia is, you know, that she's forcing these people to bow down to her, and she's forcing Cynthia and Drew Sidora and Phaedra and Angela Oakley to kiss the ring when it's just not the case. Portia even said on your platform that she considers this an ensemble cast, that nobody is bigger than the program. But you have been pushing on your panel for several weeks, this is Portia's show, everybody's got to abide by Portia or else, and you even fueled colorism allegations as to why Shamea was being treated the way she was being treated. And we're not going to do that on Real Housewives of Atlanta. We are not going to be fueling no colorism nonsense. Nobody has ever said that they had an issue with Shamea because of her skin tone. Nobody ever said they had an issue with Shamea because of her lifestyle or any of the sort. It has been her cringe and out-of-pocket behavior when she gets into disagreements with these other housewives and she goes below the belt. And then when that same energy is returned to her, she plays the victim. So those are the reasons why the fans are not feeling Shamea. It has nothing to do with her looks. Nobody's ever disrespected her looks. People may have called out some fashion mistakes she's made, but nobody has attacked her looks or ever said she was ugly or unattractive or any of the sort. It's all been based on her actions. And her and Kelly go below the belt. And then when that energy's returned, they want to play victim. They don't want to play no more. No. So that's what that's about. But I just wanted to bring that to the forefront because I just thought it was really interesting with Carlos King that the hate got really bad for Melody Cherie. And I feel like if it got nipped in the bud, especially if you nipped it in the bud with the cast, perhaps Melody Cherie wouldn't have left the show. But you allowed an environment for the entire cast to try to isolate, try to ice out Melody Cherie, all because of jealousy of her fan base and her motion, and the fact that she did not crumble and become broke and become destitute after divorcing her cheating husband that had a baby on her. And instead, you still want to prop up and reward her ex-husband and still try to make fetch happen with the other cast, and it's not the same. And it's so bad that you're regurgitating old storylines to keep the show afloat. The same old storylines some of these same cast members didn't want to talk about when Melody Cherie was on the show, but now all of a sudden they have no problem discussing it now that Melody Cherie is gone. No. If this was any other reality TV show, especially if it was on Bravo, and you said you're not going to film that, you're not going to talk about that, you're not going to do this and that, they'll be like, fine, we're going to cut your scenes. We're going to cut your story. But you know what I'm saying, continue to make excuses for these other cast members because by that point in time, you didn't care what happened with Melody Cherie. By that point in time, you and Melody Cherie were no longer on good terms, and you chose the side that was against Melody Cherie. But any other time, these other cast members, like Stormy, like others, came on your platform, or you discussed them leaving the show, and you talked about the quote-unquote hate that they received, and you said that there was about 10 people or so that are doing stuff that is going too far as a fan, and all of this and all of that, and Neil, all of a sudden you're saying, oh, it's just all online. No. So it's just interesting how, again, when it's Shamea, you've got all this grace, all this love. Keep doing what you're doing. The hate's online. You know what I'm saying? As if in real life, people would be condoning this madness. But when it came to Melody Cherie, you didn't care. When it came to Melody Cherie, you didn't care, and you didn't protect her. And that's, you know what I'm saying? And it got to a point of no return. But then when it was any other cast members, you want to say, oh, you know, the fans were doing too much. The fans went too far. It's valid. But when it was Melody Cherie, you were completely mute the entire time it was announced that she was gone from the show. And the only time you discussed her was when you were forced to discuss her in an actual interview, or when you were on The Breakfast Club and talked about the early days of how Melody and Martell had brought you the show. And outside of that, you act as if Melody Cherie was never a part of the show. Make it make sense? So that is it for this video. I need y'all to do me the biggest favor, and that is to hype the video, please. There's that. That is it. That is all. It's totus es final. It's finito. It's the end of the road. It's the end of the line for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.